Hi everybody, it's Brittany, and today I am doing something so exciting, like moving this mirror so you don't have to see it. I guess, well, my eyebrows are a little bit off. This is what happens when you don't fill them in. And you've put a foundation on your face. Well, not a foundation. I did the base of my eyes because today we are doing this. Sorry, email. Anyways, so we are doing this. I have been so excited for this. You have no idea. I have literally been like, when? It's still not available online, and I went to the mall this weekend. I walk in a Hot Topic because I always do. I always try to see like what's in store as opposed to online because it is always different. And the lady there was literally unpacking this, and she recognized me because I'm a very recognizable character in life because I quite literally dress like a crazy lady. And she was like, "Oh, did you want this?" And I was like, oh yeah, I want this. I want all of this. So anyways, I am so excited to be unboxing this. Well, kind of unboxing it, but opening it, touching it, and playing with it. And if you couldn't tell by the fact that I said I put a base on my eyes, we're going to be trying to do an eye look with this. This is what the inside looks like, and this is really cute. So if you look at it, each of these, I feel like there is a lot of wasted space in here. I feel like they could have easily added at least 2 more per row, or at least one. Just one, at least. I don't know. I just feel like there is a lot of wasted space. I just scratched it, so we're already breaking it in. First of all, mine's a little bit separating, and I want to see something. Okay. Oh my god, this is even better in my life. So it can come out. So if at any point I decide I don't want the eyeshadows, I could keep the book. I might just go buy another one just so that I can not keep the eyeshadows, just so I could have like this. Because it'll go, I've rearranged. I feel like I am in a constant state of rearranging. But I have my like palette books back there. So now you might not be able to tell, I have turned though that matte shade into a shimmer. So that's good. I feel like this is really quite a versatile palette. But you have to be the kind of person that likes color because this is very much colored. Well, a colorful palette. Well, that happened. And by that happened, I mean I'm stained. I think, if I remember correctly, the Dishonor Against Your Cow, or whatever, the one from the Mulan palette. What is it? Dishonor on Your Cow. I think that one stained too. So looking at them, I think the Dishonor on Your Cow is a little bit darker, but honestly, this one didn't show up very well anyway, so we'll see, I guess. Like I said before, I have already primed my eyes because I'm just going to do an eye look with it today. Let's start this process. Immediately, I want to go into Beetlejuice, which is that green, because I've already thought in my head, like, I really want to do, like, a green and purple kind of eye look, but I don't know what else to do after that. Let's just start with green. So, a little bit of kick up. All right. So this is what we have so far. So what I did was I took Beetlejuice and I started like putting it in my crease, creating this shape. And then for some reason, this side came out darker, and I think it might have been that my brush wasn't necessarily clean. So all I did was I imitated it on this side using the shade Strange and Unusual and then blending them both together, and it turned out perfectly fine on both sides. I understand this one probably has shadow from, I think, my Too Faced one that I used yesterday, but I was able to replicate it, so I don't think that it's going to have a major effect on the way that it actually turns out. And I did put a little bit of the Strange and Unusual in there as well, just for good measure. So that is what we have going on currently. I am now, I think I'm going to go into the dark room, and I'm just going to try and smoke it out a little bit, and then I'll do It's Showtime after. Immediately, this pigmentation is not the greatest for this shade. Alright, I'm going to have to use more of a packing brush. I'm having a lot of issues getting the pigment the way that I want it to be. Alright, so this is what we have going on right now. Now I'm going to take the shade It's Showtime. Sorry, I guess I should be showing you these. So I took Beetle Juice, created my shape, took the Strange and Unusual to deepen it because I forgot to clean the brush. And then I took this shade here, Dark Room, and put it in the outer, like, half. And I'm going to take It's Showtime, and I'm going to just deepen the outer portion again. Alright, that's not really doing a lot. I mean, you could tell that there's a little bit of it's a little bit deeper, but it's not a lot deeper. Alright, let's go take, what brush do I want? Alright, so now I'm going to go into Afterlife, and I'm just going to put that on this front portion, front third. This Afterlife shade shows up really nicely. And because I can, I'm going to go into Dante's Inferno. Sorry, I keep forgetting. So that was Afterlife. I'm going to go into Dante's Inferno. I'm actually going to grab a different brush though. And then I am going to just, I'm going to put it kind of in the middle. I feel like this one's having troubles doing its job. Well, Dante's Inferno is a bust. So, because Dante's Inferno decided not to work, let's go into Lydia instead. Pop it on top of that. Lydia is much better. That got a little out of control real quick, so that's why I'm going to go back into Afterlife and pop it on top of it. Now, it looks like Dark Room is blending away. So I'm going to have to go back into Dark Room and apply it again. Now I think I'm going to take this Bio-Exorcist shade and I'm going to put that along the lower lash line, like, and just bring it a little over halfway in. Now I'm going to go back into Beetlejuice, which is that light green shade, and I am going to smoke it all over the lower lash line. So all the way through. And then as the last step, I'm going to take the shade Juno and I'm just going to put it in my brow, in my inner corner. Okay, so I cleaned up a little bit around the eyes just so I could get, I do that with every shadow look I get because I always overblend, or I never take into account the overblend, and then I end up with it all over my face. Also, you'll have to excuse the state of my under eye. Currently, I tried to put this on my under eye today because it's been here and I keep forgetting to use it. And now I'm having this weird effect on my under eye, so I don't like this under makeup and won't do that again. This is what we ended up with. So I really like this look. I think it's really pretty and I feel like it's, I mean, I don't know if it's, I would say pretty, but it's definitely fun and I do like it. Now, there is one alteration that I need to make to this look to make it complete, and that is to take a glitter, which I'm just going to take the Color Pop in the shade Fringe. I'm going to put glitter on you, you keep it up. And now, I'm happy with this look. Everything can be made better with a little bit of glitter. Or, I should say, everything can be improved upon when glitter is involved. So, my final thoughts on this. I found that the shades in this palette are a little bit of a hit and a miss. So, shades like this one here, which is the Dante's Inferno, probably would be better off used with your finger. I couldn't get it to show up using a brush. Shades, let's see, what else? This shade, no, that one worked out fine too. This shade here, sorry, It's Showtime, also would have to be used with your finger. I tried to use this to deepen the outer V, and I found that it it didn't want to do that. And it didn't show up enough, I should say. It didn't have enough pigment in it for it to, excuse you, Doge, to make a difference on the outer V of the eye. And I am finding that even with the swatch of this orange, it is slightly patchy. So there's that. Also, this shade here, which is Dark Room, beautiful. I do like it. It takes a lot of effort to get it to show up. I mean, you can see by looking at this swatch that it's not necessarily the most highly pigmented. And I did find that it faded. And I'm looking at my eye look right now and it's already fading again. But I feel like it is still pretty, but it does fade. So that is not my favorite shade out of here. And I feel like it was kind of a letdown. Now, out of the other shades that I did use in here, this shade here, Beetle Juice, gorgeous. I love this shade. I absolutely love this shade. It blends beautifully. If you look here, like you can see that it's actually blended out into this really pretty yellow. I found that it does take other colors rather nicely, like the Strange and Unusual that I put to kind of deepen it. I found that that was a gorgeous, like, kind of, to add depth to the eye. I did like that shade. I will definitely be going back into this to use that shade. It is extremely similar to my, my Melt Stack, the Radioactive Stack Green, but this one's just a little more muted, whereas that one's like very vibrant and bright. This one is much more muted, and I do like that shade. This shade here, Bio-Exorcist, I used that on the lower lash line and it blended nicely. I found though that that shade kind of blended further than I was expecting it to, mainly because when I did do that swatch on my arm that little bit when I was trying to like see if I could make it shimmery, it kind of was not there. But I feel like packing it's obviously a lot better. This shade here, Afterlife, will cover your life with it. Like, it goes over all the shades. It doesn't have an issue. It doesn't look like, especially if you use your finger. I used a brush to go over the shade Lydia perfectly. Lydia, also a very nice shade. I tried to add Dante's Inferno using a brush and it didn't quite work out for me, but Lydia went straight over it, straight away, and it covered it and it blended out a little further than I was expecting to. But I feel like it's because when I swatched them, they weren't necessarily magnificent. So I was thinking like, oh, the pigment's not high. I'll just, you know, I don't need to tap off my brush. I don't need to do all that because the pigment's not there. But then when I applied it to my eye, it was like extremely surprising how much pigment actually deposited. And that's why I ended up with the issue where things were going a little further than I was expecting. But all in all, my impression of this now that I have used it is essentially the same. I really do like this palette. I find that the color arrangement is pretty vast. I feel like you could probably come up with a couple of eye looks out of this. You're not going to be able to come up with too many neutral eye looks. I mean, you might be able to take these darker shades like these here and this one here and maybe this one down here and create kind of like a more neutral look. But for the most part, and all the looks you're going to get out of this palette are going to be a little bit more colorful and bright, and that's okay for me because I do like bright palettes. But if that's not for you, this might not be the palette for you. Purple probably would be a good one too, but most people that do neutral looks do like neutral is what I'm getting at. I do like this palette, if not for nostalgic purposes, for the fact that I actually did like the way that it performed. I'm going to be keeping this, obviously. I'm going to be putting it back there. So that is all. That, I guess my final conclusion is, if you were interested in this palette, it's not a bad palette. It is $16, so that's not bad. I do wish they had a little bit more shades in here. I feel like they kind of did a lot of wasted space in here, so that's a little bit disappointing. Or like had a pull-out box that had like a couple of lippies in it. That would have been awesome, but it is what it is. So yeah, that is my final thoughts. That is my final conclusion. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope you come back for more. I love you, all you beautiful unicorns. Bye. I really do like this skirt though. It's got pockets. Like, why is it that not everybody does pockets? Pockets are essential to life.